I always think about you're not creating for yourself, you're creating for the audience. So it's hard when you don't have an offer because it's like, who are you creating for? And I would say the best person you can target and speak to is the person you were 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago before you had that transformation.
Yeah.
For me, 75 Hard, I was actually speaking to who I was in Ibiza or in Bali, lost, not knowing what to do, needs that physical and mental reset, needs to dial in and like have some time to really look inward.
What stood out for me was just how rapidly fast your life has transformed from a career perspective and a lifestyle perspective.
The way I always think about everything, and when someone comes to me and goes, oh, I've been shadow banned or Instagram won't show my content to me, I go, do you know how Instagram make money? By showing content to people. The idea trumps everything else. And we see it time and time again. Look at high production, highly edited content, it tanks on short form. People care more about the idea. 80% of my following today came from 30 of my top reels. To be an entrepreneur and be really successful, you need to become super one-dimensional. And like all you can laser focus on, that's how you get ahead. You just laser focus on one thing for a prolonged period of time. Everyone talks about this lonely chapter, right? The lonely chapter of when you embark on this new part of your journey and you're heading to that new destination, you're unrelatable to your old friend group, you're not relatable to the next friend group, and it's the lonely, it's like, you're only making it a lonely chapter because you're making yourself one-dimensional. You need to grow your audience first, and then we reverse engineer the offer based off your audience. So the first thing you need to do, if you have an audience and you're struggling to monetize, is...
So I was listening to your episode with Chris.
Yeah.
And I'd say the biggest takeaway for me was like, when I was listening, just your transition from corporate, it was consulting, right?
Yeah, sort of corporate strategy.
What year did you leave that?
That was 2023, I think. Yeah, 2023, end of 2023, December.
Like what stood out for me was just how rapidly, like fast your life has transformed from a career perspective and a lifestyle perspective. Like you're a 9 to 5 corporate, I think earning 80K a year.
Yeah, around that.
And then you're probably 4xing that in profit each month where we are today in May 2025. Did you ever see that, like that future self of you looking like that when you kind of exited?
Not necessarily when I exited. Like, I don't think it's been a pure plan to get to that profit level, but I think it was more once you find that vehicle that you like really passionately enjoy. And I think, sort of somewhere where it's like, when you feel like there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden your week just blows into one. And it's that difference of working for someone else and trying to align their mission to yours versus working for yourself and having your own mission that you work on every day. And I think once I saw that and was like, wow, there's not even a question of like, what's the opportunity cost of going out this weekend or doing this or doing that. It was just like, nah, I just want to be all in and working on that. And that's how you start to make like massive leaps really, really fast. And once you're doing that and then you align it with a super scalable vehicle, then I think that's where it unlocks. And for the first part of it, started in September, creating content, did really well, like 100K followers in 100 days, which was pretty crazy. Managed to go all in on December after realizing, look, there may actually be some money to be made here. I'm going to look at selling like a few different offers that did really well. And from there, it was like a lot of test and learning, like back and forth for about a year. And now it's almost like, it's not like I'm working harder, but it's like the levers I'm pulling are creating such bigger change. So it's just understanding like leverage, what is a really scalable vehicle, and going from maybe this like pure one-on-one dynamic of coaching to a more scalable of like one to many, and how you can deliver a great product to many people at once. And then also just like hiring. And I think as you scale, you get the ability to bring great people into your business. And I think the more you can hire people who are smarter than you, the faster you're going to get ahead, really.
People always talk about, working harder. And I just think it's a given. Like if you want to execute and be the best at what you do, like you've just got to work fucking hard, right? It's pretty simple. But I think like looking at your consulting gig and looking at where you are now, I think it's about choosing what to work on and who to work with, because you could have stayed working in strategy, worked, great companies and just climbed up that political ladder that you got to kind of just slowly try and work out and navigate. But you shifted gears, left, and you've just started scaling.
Well, the best example of that is like, yes, you need to work hard, but if you take sales, it's like you could sell a $1,000 offer and take 10% of that. So every sale you get $100. Now you could work really, really hard and work 16-hour weeks, right? 16-hour days. Okay, and let's say a sales call on average 45 minutes, 15 minutes in between. So you can only have 16 sales calls those days. Like the maximum you could possibly earn on that offer if you closed every single deal is $1,600, right? So it's just like the vehicle that you're in. Yes, you could work harder and try work 20-hour days, which is just unrealistic to sustain for anyone. And then you can get to 2,000. But then it's like, but what if you were selling a $10,000 offer and now you're closing and every deal you're getting $1,000? Like all of a sudden your hourly has just dramatically increased. And that's like a really easy way to show leverage in what you're selling from like a pure sales perspective. And that's why when you're in sales, yes, it's about working hard. And yes, it's about increasing your close rate and being a great closer, but it's also working on an offer that's selling for the highest price.
Yeah.
And I think same thing in like business, when you apply yourself to something that just has greater leverage, where the minutes and hours that you put in are returning more and have like an unlimited capacity to return more and more, you're in like the best position.
So were you posting on IG before you exited corporate?
Before I exited. Yeah. So started in September. I had like private, personal Instagram. Yeah. And then starting 75 Hard, I was like, you know what, need like a physical and mental reset after a big 24th birthday in Ibiza. I feel like sort of my vices had taken me all over the world. I sort of believe each city represents either pleasure, power, fame, or money. And I'd been in Bali for a while, which I think represents pleasure pretty well. And same with Ibiza, a New York, that's probably more down the like money vein. You've got like Washington for power. You've got LA, which is fame. I think Sydney's a unique balance of pleasure and money in a way. Like we've got this financial hub for the Southern Hemisphere. And then we've also got a place like Bondi where you can relax and enjoy and people come for the lifestyle. But yeah, the pursuit for pleasure, I think had taken me to places like Bali where I'd got a taste for what maybe living a more nomadic life looked like. We did a lot of work into Indonesia with the company I was at. So we're based out of Singapore. And then ended up in Ibiza, 24th birthday, plenty of things to do in Ibiza around pleasure. And coming back was like, okay, I need a bit of a reset of, physical, mental wellness. So 75-day hard seemed like a good challenge. And I added an extra rule, which was posting every single day. It was more of an accountability metric. I tried 75 hard in the past, hadn't been successful. So I thought, good idea to create Alfie Gets Hard, hence the name, and post every single day as part of that. And yeah, it just really started to take off after about 45 days. It took about 45 days to get to 1,000. And then from day 45 to like 100, that's when I grew like an extra 99,000 followers.
Insane. So the algo just was loving you.
Yeah, I think it was just doubling down on what was working. My first thing that did really well was like daily vlogs, showcasing what was in my day, but also showcasing the lifestyle I get to live in Bondi, which is an amazing place. So it was more showcasing my environment than anything else, which felt second nature. Once you're in it and you've lived in it, you take all these things for granted, that we've got this amazing like world-class coastal run that we get to go on, that there's so many fit people around, like all of these things that are so foreign to other parts of the world, particularly places like the US and UK, which keep in mind we're in winter, whereas we were coming into summer. So the, timing, luck, all those things go into it.
So like, had you looked into a mentor around like strategy around this content creation and just the long-term, I guess, growth you're looking for?
No, background's finance and marketing. Always loved marketing. That was like at uni what I studied, what I did really well in. So I think it was just looking at that, being like, well, if I can market myself, it's probably the best brand to get behind. It's the brand that I know the most. And yeah, if you can't market yourself, don't really think you should be in marketing.
So what do you, like for people listening to this who just, their Instagram hasn't blown up or they're not really, they haven't got great exposure on it, or they are on it and it's just not growing. Like what are some things that you recommend just critical things to consider?
Yeah. First thing would be, if you're already looking at it as a business, then you need to approach it like any business. If you are opening a gym, let's say in Bondi, the first thing you would go and do is check out all the existing gyms in Bondi. You go in there, you'd see the demographic, the pricing, the branding, the atmosphere that they create. It's like, do a competitor analysis. So many people just jump into a space and they don't look at the other people that are already creating in their own niche. It's like there's so many pathways to success, but reverse engineering some of the people who are already successful is going to be the fastest way to do that, particularly if they have similar offers to what you'd like to build or what you already have. So they're targeting a similar demographic. So if you already have an offer, look at existing people who are targeting a similar demographic. What topics are they speaking on? Because at its purity, content creation is just ideas. And those ideas need to be relevant and engaging to your audience. So if you can find those ideas, and Instagram literally tells you it's like this many million views, this many likes, this many comments, you can see the winning ideas and then put those ideas into your own words and like put your own spin on it. That's one side if you have an offer. If you don't have an offer yet, I always think about you're not creating for yourself, you're creating for the audience. So it's hard when you don't have an offer because it's like, who are you creating for? And I would say the best person you can target and speak to is the person you were 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago before you had that transformation.
Yeah.
For me, 75 Hard, I was actually speaking to who I was in Ibiza or in Bali, lost, not knowing what to do, needs that physical and mental reset, needs to dial in and like have some time to really look inward. And I was speaking to that person without, it wasn't as strategic as that. It's not what I set out to do. Again, it was documenting my own journey. So there was a little bit of fumbling around and working out what to do. But I think if I was to go back and do it again, I could do it a lot faster, going after that specific person. And really, like, whenever I speak to camera or whenever I create a piece of content, it's like I'm showing that one person. And if you can get your ICP, your ideal customer profile, you're going to be ahead of everyone else, because otherwise you're just putting it into the abyss.
At what point, like after 75-day hard, or even during it, after 45 days, did you realize like, fuck, I'm creating an audience, there's engagement, like I can start to monetize this?
Yeah, the monetization came later. I actually sat down with Chris. I was like, had that imposter syndrome of like, who am I to charge for these things?
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I was like, I didn't want to charge. I was just like, I just want to give more information out for free. One thing I found really interesting was so when I created this new account, 83 followers, right? And I shouted it out on my personal account, which maybe had 2,000. I said, look, starting this journey, I get it. Majority of you haven't followed to be bombarded with my half, topless body running around. If you want to follow, you can. And 83 people came through, which is a really important indication that from 2,000 people, it's a very small percentage that actually want to see that. So my hypothesis is if I had stayed on my personal account, I would have just been sending it out to people who weren't interested, which signals to Instagram, not great content. So it's good to start a fresh account. 83 people on there. And even very early on, when it started slowly ticking up, I was getting really positive feedback from people I didn't know. And I was like, that's so interesting that just posting content here, someone in the UK is saying, hey, this is really inspirational. Like, love your work, keep it up. Or, someone in the US. And I was like, it's pretty amazing. And I think when you start creating on social media, I believe social media as a whole, net negative. Creating on social media, net positive. Because you actually use that how the platform's meant to be used, which is for this amazing global social connection. But we limit ourselves to our own friend group that we already know. Yeah. And then we're just like in this feeling of just constant judgment by our own friends when we don't create at a scale that pushes content out to other people. So yeah, early on I saw that and was pretty surprised and taken aback and like, oh, this is really, really cool. And I sort of did the math and I was like, okay, I'm going up like 5, 10 followers a day. And I was like, oh, if I stick at this for like a whole year, I'll be at like 30,000 followers. That's awesome. That's like, and I was happy with that. And I was like, that's 30,000 followers is a lot. Like, that's awesome. Imagine having 30,000 people in a room. So I think just doing that math and being like, yeah, you know what? I'm actually really enjoying it. And the algorithm's designed to like insert dopamine into your life. So it's a very positive feedback loop as well. Fast forward, 45 days, it was like to get to 1,000. And then it really started going. It was like 1,000 to 10,000 was like 2 days. And that was like a really big jump because it only takes one reel to do super well. And like when you have that viral reel, it triggers all your other reels because you're getting so much viewership to your account that it's then triggering other reels that they're interested. So it sort of has this like momentum snowball effect. And I think when I saw that and saw that big jump, that's when I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to charge for this, but I'll release a free program, put together like a nice PDF. It was like an 80-20 guide on fitness. And I was like, I'll put out a free program, but I'll collect some emails because I've got a marketing background. Emails are always useful. And I got like 10,000 emails in a week.
Fuck.
And I was just like, okay, this is like heading in the right direction. And it wasn't until about a month later, and I was like kept collecting these emails, that I was sort of looking around at my job. I was in a trip back to Bali. We'd just gone to central Kalimantan, which is like in the Borneo rainforest. It was in climate tech consulting. Okay. So you see these large nature-based solution projects where we're like quantifying carbon emission, and then we'd basically create carbon credits and sell those to big blue chip companies who want to offset their emissions. And I was sort of looking around, I was going like, there's not really anyone here that inspires me or is where I want to be in 1 year, let alone 5, 10 years. So I was sort of looking around that and going, okay. And, I was having some conversations at the time, my CEO who knew he was a young founder as well. He actually really respected what I was doing online because we realized to like continue raising capital and just the positioning of the brand, it's actually beneficial to have a personal brand. So he really got what I was doing. But I think he was also like, how much time are you spending creating these videos? And like, how much time are you spending training every day? As I felt a little bit of friction and pressure, I think that's when I was like, okay, maybe this isn't going to be my long-term role. What are the other options? And that was when I was like, you know what, I'll just do a low ticket, $60 program, 12 weeks of training. It's like how I train. If you want it, here it is. Did a little email campaign. And yeah, I think did like 40,000 first month.
Solid.
Yeah. And then I was just like, nah, I'm going all in. And that was just before Christmas. So I left my job and yeah, just went all in.
Have you ever thought about doing a live event?
I'd like to one day. Yeah. Public speaking is more one of those skills that I'm like not great at, but I would love to.
Creator to founder. So I don't know that many creators, right? But a lot of the creators I meet or online, they look super successful. I didn't know about this. Like most creators I thought online, like with 500,000 followers, I thought they were doing really well from a business point of view. That's probably naive, but ignorant for me. I just thought, oh, these guys are crushing. But then I started to realize just through a bit of research that a lot of creators like are broke. Like they don't, obviously they've got no business skill, acumen. They don't know how to monetize audience. And so you obviously worked it out pretty quick. Like you said, you launched that $60 offer, you made 40K in your first month. But like, what was that process like moving from creator to founder?
I think I was always like founder mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was like founder building a personal brand to leverage in a way. Like I was sort of always not necessarily looking at as a business opportunity from the very beginning. But once I started to build the email database, like even doing that small decision to be like, you know what, I'm not just going to give a free PDF, which I easily could have linked in my bio because that's how I gave it out to people. But instead I just put it to a type form. So they had to give me an email to unlock it. Like that small decision. And that like the only reason I did that was because we were doing a bunch of, I think we were raising a capital round. And when we send out the investment deck, we just put like an email password over the top of it. Just so we could get the email and like understand who's looking at our investment deck because we had it going out to lots of different VC firms. And it's like that small decision made such a huge difference. And I just don't think a lot of creators are geared that way. There's a saying called it's like broke influencer syndrome. It's very common, but it's sort of like at its purity, the original influencers, their talent. It's like a very, very talented actor and then being like, cool, give us like a rundown of the budget for this movie and like, let's put together like the business plan of how we're going to get like investment and go to market and market this thing. That's like not their role. So traditionally you have these influencers that are not business minded and brands are happy to pay and they're happy to get paid by brands.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got 500,000 followers relative to someone working a corporate 9 to 5, you are doing fantastically.
Yeah.
Relative to how well you could be doing if you leveraged your following in the right way and built the right offers and provided the right value, the average could be doing better. You're right.
Biz idea for you. What about finding creators, right? Who they've got a blown up audience. They do really well. They suck at business. They're not monetizing. And basically, you know, showing these creators how to be founders, like how to provide that up, present that offer, you know, build a sales team, build a marketing engine, build the ops, build the systems, and, you know, just grow a business.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But like, have you thought about, like, do you do that at a business level?
Yeah.
Okay, you do that. Is that with Amplifier?
Yeah. So Amplifier's got different tiers. There's like growing your social media from scratch. So someone who's got, like I was, starting from zero and coming into it. And then there's Convert, how to monetize your audience. So some people go through Grow, then they upsell into Convert because they want to then monetize the audience we've helped them grow. Or they go straight into Convert because they've already got an existing audience. And then something we do with like the higher end is we do a more hands-on white glove and we take a JV in their business.
Got it. Okay. So people who are like, let's say that lower level who just aren't really doing much, like aren't even revenue generating, are they coming to you?
Yeah, they're being grow.
Okay.
So we'd grow their audience.
Got it.
So the first thing I've always said is like, you need to grow your audience first, and then we reverse engineer the offer based off your audience. So the first thing you need to do if you have an audience and you're struggling to monetize is understand your audience. My housemate, Jake, which is sort of part of the reason why I got into content, he started creating content in 2023 before me in January. And, slow build, got to like 5,000 followers by May. So January to May, about like 5 months. And then one reel took him from 5,000 to 250,000 in a week.
What was that reel?
It was a dragon squat. Very impressive, like difficult calisthenics, lower body move. And, like there were all the elements, blue sky. I was in Portugal. He looks like Brad Pitt, got long hair.
See the Bondi dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been good mates for ages. Anyway, after that, we were in Bali together. This is when I was sort of on my pleasure journey. We're living together and, he's got this big audience and he was falling into that category you were speaking about. Big audience, but no idea how to monetize. And we spoke, we touched base together and he's like, I want to do a coaching app. And I was like, makes sense. You blow up fitness. Let's do it. Ended up funding his app. We got to build. This company we went with, won't mention them because they're sort of now a competitor these days, but that's part of the reason why I went into it because I was like, I can do this so much better than they can. Anyway, built an app for him, went to market with it and it took ages, right? Like this app build, classic tech build where you go like, cool, easy, we'll get it up in a month. It took it wasn't until December till he launched. And all that time he's just like pedaling, eating into savings. His following's still going up. He's now at like 3, 4, 500K. But hasn't really made any money. Go to market with it. And this is around the same time that I'm going to market now, having joined content.
Yeah.
And I made 40,000 my first month. And he's sort of looking over and going like, fuck, how'd you figure this out? Yeah. And there was a bit of tension in the house because, I'm trying to celebrate Boxing Day sale, made like $8,000 in like a day. And he's sort of like still, struggling to make rent in a way. Anyway, goes to market with this thing and no one really bought. And it was a medium ticket, like $50 a week maybe, or maybe it was $50 a month, but it was like a medium ticket offer where he was going to teach you like strength and hypertrophy and like all the training that he's done, right? And nutrition. No one really bought. And I looked at it and went, Jake, your handle's Elastiboy and everyone follows you for mobility. Why don't you just do like a 15-minute mobility challenge? Like something like that. So I actually set up his Shopify, which was what I was using, gave him all the infrastructure, gave him the templates on Notion. So no real cost to fulfill it. Like Shopify is $6 a month. Notion was free at the time. And he set it up and that was like mid-January. And by the end of January, he'd done about 60 grand in sales. Fuck. So it wasn't that people weren't willing to buy. It's that he just had the wrong offer for his audience. So one of the first things I get everyone to do who's got an audience, I go, understand your audience. And the best part is they will come on that journey with you. Ask them, what are you struggling with the most? What are your goals this year? Like just with polls on your story, get that feedback, then do a meta-analysis, look at the attribution of followers by content. So each reel gives you attribution and says how many followers came from each reel, right? Like look at that ranked and you'll be able to tell 80% of my following today came from 30 of my top reels.
Unreal.
And then if you break that down by content pillar, so I did training, nutrition, mindset, and lifestyle, you'll be able to see where it's coming from. And if you're like overwhelmingly nutrition, focus more on the nutrition angle. You can sell them the training, but you need to angle and frame it around nutrition. And if it's more lifestyle, angle the lifestyle and then sell on the back end the other components. So just getting really clear on like why people follow you and what do they want from you, because people are so willing to buy online these days. Yes. We trust so quickly. Like I've been taken aback and I reckon it's getting faster and faster and faster. I believe we don't live in a social media era. It's an interest era. If you started a fresh account tomorrow, if you're the most interesting on the platform, you're going to win. It's not about who's been on the platform the longest. It's not about who's already in my network and in my social platform. It's about who is the most interesting today.
Do you notice any difference between, let's say, the UK, America, and Australia with like how they kind of interact?
US are the most willing buyers ever. They just love taking a chance on themselves and they really back themselves. And I think that's why they get a lot of innovation, because they are willing to be like, you know what, I can do it. I'm going to give it a go. I think UK just struggles a little bit economically at the moment.
Yeah.
But there's still stuff there, but they struggle with like, I think the whole like self-doubt of like belief that it could happen to them. Australia's all right as well. I think Australia's okay. It's getting there. It's got like a pretty good economy propped up by natural gas. Yes, tall poppy, always an element. I see it less as like, because I think there's people that have experienced tall poppy who are successful. And then if you're not super successful, you wouldn't really have experienced it. So I don't think it's as prevalent for people who haven't put themselves in a position to be there.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like tall poppy validates your success in the Australia and UK market.
What percentage of your customers are Aussie versus American versus UK?
It's probably like, so audience wise, biggest is US.
Okay.
Then Australia, then UK.
Yeah.
And that's probably pretty reflective in the customer base.
Okay.
I'd say Australia and US actually would be biggest, be like 40-40.
Do you have a website for Amplifier?
Yeah. Well, just a like application form.
Okay. Yeah, because I couldn't find it. That's because I thought you were focusing purely on fitness.
Yeah, so I do both.
So you do both. Okay.
So my thing is like, and why I push is like the best thing about building an online business is you don't need a website. Like what people have got to realize is your Instagram is your landing page.
Yeah.
So it's like people come through there and it's like, instead of being sent to like a website chatbot, they get to talk to me directly.
Yes.
And I ask them and I go, what are you struggling with? Cool. What are your goals? Let me like actually understand you as a person and see if there's a world where we can work together. And if there is, then I send them an application. I send them an application form. They jump on with the team. And again, they're asking the same questions because a lot of this is like a customized, personalized process. And it's like, we need to actually understand the client and the customer and whether we can serve them before we even make an offer for them. And that's the beauty of digital products.
So you're going after like every creator across all niches and industries?
No, just health.
Just health.
Fringes, we have some people who are in the wealth pillar as well, but I prefer to work with people purely in health, fitness enthusiasts.
Interesting, because what I was saying earlier about the biz, I was thinking that, is there anything out there in the market that you've seen that targets creators across any niche around how you can like just start making money?
Yes, but it's like tech infrastructure, which is what we're investing in.
Okay.
So like you become like a WAP, payment processing. I don't know if you've seen WAP. They just got a Series B val of 777 million.
Yes.
So they flew me out to New York in November. So I saw them just after they'd done their Series A and it was starting to move. And I was like, okay, this is different. Like they're going to compete with Stripe, but for creators. Stripe just don't care about creators and digital product.
Yeah.
Like they're too big and like you're just such a small little fry to them. Whereas WAP actually care and have tried to design tools for them. A lot of people think WAP are trying to compete with School or Circle, which for anyone watching, School and Circle are platforms where you can deliver like video modules. And a lot of people think that's what WAP are trying to do, is like compete on this like community building element. They're not. They're a payment processor masked with some additional tools and build out like that. If you want to use them, you can use them, but they also are quite happy just to be a payment processor. Like I use Circle and WAP, but WAP has like more attractive payment processing deals and they also have financing deals that are integrated into their payment processor.
Got it. So what software are you working on, if you don't mind sharing?
We're actually building a lot of the software in-house.
Okay.
And that's going to be a big part of the proposition. Right now, we're like 80% info, 20% tech. I want to be 80% tech, 20% info. And I think anyone in the info space should be moving towards tech integrated information.
Agree. Why do you say that?
Info, it's not a big enough moat. Like the moat's not deep enough. What do you have? The latest information? It just becomes a marketing game. Whereas like with technology, you can build actual moats that's going to differentiate you and allow you to scale on the back end. So for us, it's, if you think about the three categories that we play across, it's like marketing, which is content creation, sales, and fulfillment. So marketing, we're building a full editing app that's going to probably change the way people interact with short form.
Okay.
I've MVP'd with like templates. My whole belief is I want to do to CapCut what they did to Premiere Pro.
Okay.
So CapCut put content creation in layman terms, made it really easy for the average creator. Got 500 million users. 220 million of those are paying users, right? And for context, there's 220 million content creators in the world that are either part-time or full-time.
Okay.
When surveyed, they put themselves as a content creator, part-time or full-time, creating content for 5 billion people on social media. It's a bit of supply and demand. Point being, CapCut put content creation into layman terms. And I was amazed when I started in September 2023 how easy and intuitive CapCut is. Because prior to that, it was like Premiere Pro, which is tough. You're like doing color grading, LUTs, like there's so much stuff going on there. And it's really that professional level service. Whereas CapCut just made it super easy and it's cheap. It's like $10 a month. It's like $100 for the year and you get this amazing short form app. But I look at it now, I'm like, there's not really a world where we need to even know what snipping content is, like halving content, like, or dragging it together. Like, what if there was a world where you just put the URL of a high performing piece of content on Instagram, it determines whether it's templatable, and then it splits it into the template, and then using a custom GPT, it puts all the text into your own words, it reaches into your camera roll, and it matches scenes, and it automatically creates the content. So that's what we're building for the marketing side. Then on the sales side, it's like CRM. That's pretty straightforward. It's like, let's just build a health focused CRM. We can take all the learnings from what we've done, building our business, and then we can apply that. And instead of having, again, it's almost instead of having all the tools available, which most of these big CRM companies have, it's how do we condense and just make it really straightforward and have less tools available, but the tools are specified and niched to the health.
Yes, smart.
segment.
And then you can sell that to your customers.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've just launched that, scale that ship.
Smart.
And then on the fulfillment side, we brought in some fulfillment partners where we would have our own fitness app that people get access to. And again, streamlined. It's about selling the information on how to use the technology now. So it's a very different proposition.
You talked about like moving from info to tech and the moat's not big enough. Have you been thinking that, you know, with info and obviously AI now emerging, that, you know, people are just going to be able to just get such readily access to info now, like to whatever they want? Like you can create a course in 20 minutes on GPT.
Yes, but we've already had mass access to info. If more information was the answer, we'd all be billionaires and rippling six packs. The reality is it's about condensing the information and the right information and an accountability system and framework that holds someone through that. So my whole thing with Amplify was like, there's so much information out there on how to create content. It's actually just giving people a streamlined pathway of like, this is the strategy and this is what you need to do. And, you know, when you get to this checkpoint, you check in with this person and you hand in this worksheet and this is what you do, because people just get lost in the abyss of all the things that they can do. And they just need to be channeled and told it's this, then this, then this, then this. So it's more giving them like a step-by-step process than anything else. And my whole goal was, how do I reduce the amount of content on here so it's not overwhelming? Because I could have done 20 hours of content on there, but instead I did a very strategic step-by-step approach. That's like 3 hours of course content. That's like this, then you complete this, you submit it here, I review it there, then it goes here, then it goes here.
Okay.
So it's almost less information is better.
Less info. But do you think that like people selling online courses, let's say in 12, 24 months, there's going to be huge demand from the public for it still?
Depends what niche. Like if you said, are drop shipping courses still going to be in demand as much? Maybe not, because it depends where the opportunity is. Biz op. So it's business opportunity. So wherever the opportunity is, if the opportunity, it's like saying, is selling information on teaching people to be buyers agents in real estate. Well, that's held up that real estate's still going to be a good investment option, that there's still going to be demand for buyers agents. So it's like there's a few economic system, like macro things we need to look probably at. So yeah, I think info is always going to be information. People always want to make money and be in that space, but it's just which vertical.
So you grew your businesses through organic to begin with, right? Or I'm sure like a lot of your business comes through organic versus paid.
Yeah, correct.
What percentage is paid media?
10% currently.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah, well, it's just simple retargeting at the end of the day. Like once you build the organic, you have the audience to retarget. So yeah. And then we've got like 18% comes through a really strong like referral and ambassador program that we've launched, similar to Gymshark or a Whoop. 18% goes through that. People that really embody the brand and represent what we do from a lifestyle perspective. Again, you talk about those creators, big audiences, but don't know how to monetize. We give them an opportunity to monetize through pushing lead flow to Amplify.
Got it.
Similar to a Whoop. I work with Whoop or Gymshark. And my biggest thing was having Amplify athletes. So having actual athletes that represent the brand. We do offsites, we do events. We just went to Bali, had like 20 of them all in a villa, which
sick.
was awesome. Really, really fun.
These are your customers?
No, these are athletes.
These are athletes. Okay.
Yeah, some customers who are like top performers inside that did really well came as well, and I flew them out. But this was more about putting on an event for like the athletes. We did a big run club, did like activation. So they'll be at the run club and representing it.
Smart.
Which is cool. Yeah, it's about building like a lifestyle brand and community. Biggest part of Amplify beyond just lowering the barrier to content creation was also I'm surrounded by content creators now because I've been in the space for 18 months. It's funny, like the green grass of content creation is rubbed off on a lot of my friend group as well. It's not just Jake and I creating content anymore. Our other housemate, Marley, Medical Miles, got into content. Then Seb, 9 to 5, got into content. He's a lawyer in the city who creates content. Sam Cam, like we set off a bit of a chain reaction with all our friends. They're all Kiwis as well.
That's cool.
Apart from Marley, who's from Byron. But we set off a chain reaction once they saw what was possible. That's the first thing. Once you see someone like you do it, it becomes way more achievable. And I get on the phone all the time with people who are from New Zealand. And they're like, yeah, I just love it. Like, you're from New Zealand as well. You like me. You may not sound like them anymore because my accent's definitely gone. But I remember, growing up, there was one guy, it was Joseph Rakic, was the only fitness influencer that I knew in New Zealand. And he was a big guy, probably on steroids. And it wasn't relatable. Like, it wasn't someone I looked to and was like, I want to be that. So I think being that person for other people is pretty crazy. Probably haven't reflected on it enough because I don't go back to New Zealand too often. But seeing that and seeing the impact you can have once you're successful and once you carve a space and seeing the people that want to follow behind you is awesome. And my job's like, not only do I see them want to follow behind, but I want to enable them and bring them in and create and foster a community that I didn't necessarily have when I started.
How important is sales? Like, you obviously had nailed marketing, like you build up that audience and you understand it. But what have you learned about sales since, you started to scale Amplify?
Sales is probably part of the business that I'm like, if I think of my 3 areas, marketing, sales, fulfillment, sales for me was part that I outsourced the fastest, both in the fitness and in Amplify. I think there's great salespeople out there that their job is to be like amazing detectives and they've really refined the skill. But it's a low leverage move for me to be on sales call. Like, I would rather have a head of sales, a sales team that are really aligned with what I do, have the buy-in and understand the vision. And their job is to be that touch point on the front end. Like, I want to be focused in fulfillment and like delivering a great product and marketing it. Those are really my jobs in the business. I can sell someone, I can do sales. Used to work in sales for Procter & Gamble when I came out of university. They own like Head and Shoulders, Gillette, what stuff. I used to go from IGA to IGA selling in Gillette at a store manager or store owner level, which taught me a lot about sales. Really it's about being a great detective. If you can understand what the person wants and what's the cost of inaction, you can really outline the cost of inaction. I have like a really simple sales framework that I go through. Past, what's taken you to this point? Like, what are you struggling with? How long have you been struggling with it? If I take fitness, for example, if you have someone who has been struggling to get in shape for 5 years and they've tried every diet, everything, that pain is far greater than the person who wants to get in shape for this summer to take his top off. So it's really understanding the past, like how long have we been struggling with this problem? And if they're on a call for you and it's a sales call, they have a problem that you are going to solve for them or hopefully solve for them. Present, what's working today, what's not. Future, where do we want to be 1 month from now, 3 months, 6 months? And then what's the cost of inaction? If we don't get there in 3 months, what does that actually cost you? Because a lot of people think that not taking action is like the $0 no cost option, but it's actually not. It may cost them financially, may cost them personally. Like, what is that actual number? And the more we can quantify that, the better, because then we go to partnership. The reference number of the cost of inaction is no longer 0. So it may cost them, if we think about a job in the future, if they're not disciplined, stay in shape, if we think of an extreme version, maybe divorce. It's like, what does that actually look like? Like, what is the cost? Like, divorce is expensive. That's 50% of all of your assets. That's a really expensive thing to go through. And then if somehow we've linked that to like the discipline of looking after yourself, staying in shape, showing up for your family, then it's like the cost of a $1,500 program for 3 months relative to divorce. It's a very different conversation. So it's just about understanding that. And I think taking someone through that journey.
What made you, I think it's pretty impressive that you outsource sales pretty early on. Like most people I see getting in early stage businesses become the biggest bottleneck because they're fucking stuck on the phone. They're chief everything officer. They're doing everything, but they're typically stuck on the phone. And I feel like from what I've seen, because I teach people, how to turn buying property into a career, they're running businesses and they just become the biggest bottleneck and they're on sales calls all day. At what point did you be like, hey, I need to just outsource this?
I think if you're really good at marketing, you get in this fortunate position where the lead flow is enough to fuel a commission-only sales team. I think the issue with probably earlier founders is because they're in sales, the cost of each sale seems so great. And they're like, oh, I'm giving up now 10% or 15%, or then with a sales manager, maybe 25% of that. And in their head, they're like, wow, that's a lot of money to give up. So I think there's that. There's an attachment to 25%, I could be paying myself that. And then also if lead flow is not there, you can't really attract great sales talent because even if you're giving them 10% of the deal, it may not be enough. You may not have enough deals over the table to attract a really good person. So whereas sales reps now in the company earn 40, 50,000 a month.
Yeah, it's good.
So it's a pretty attractive to be remote, work from Byron barefoot as some of them do. It's a pretty attractive proposition. And very rare. So you can attract the top talent.
Yeah, you need the lead flow. You're right. If your offer's not strong, you might get the reps in and then the sales reps and they'll leave.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like chicken and the egg because then it's well, to get the lead flow, I need to focus on marketing, and to focus on marketing, I need to stop selling.
Yeah.
But then to stop selling, I need to get something. So it becomes this repeating issue where maybe in the short term, you do have to pay someone a base. And you're either going to pay them in marketing or you're going to pay them in sales. And I've always said, in personal branding, marketing is the last thing you can try and outsource.
Yes.
You can bring on videographers, you can bring on a creative director, which I have now, and I did not have at the start. I did everything with my iPhone.
Wow.
Literally everything with my iPhone until I was about 300K plus followers.
Insane.
Because that's all you need. People consume short form media on an iPhone. The only reason I brought on videographer, creative director is because I'm going into YouTube and I know that the quality of content you need on YouTube, it's 4K, 8K, whatever it is. You need a proper camera. Whereas everything on short form can be an iPhone. Best way to create. And that's how I teach it. You use your iPhone. You don't need high quality production cameras. It's about the ideas and content. The idea trumps everything else. And we see it time and time again. Look at high production, highly edited content. It tanks on short form. People care more about the idea. And then you see something that's one video, some sound over the top, and it's just some text on screen and it's got millions of views. Because the idea.
What's the thinking with YouTube? Is it long form or?
Yeah, another tool. Again, I think you want to be omnipresent across multiple platforms, and YouTube's, I think, got to be, if you want longevity in the space, the next step. But the cool thing about today is traditionally people think about the platforms as in, okay, what's my X strategy? What's my LinkedIn strategy? What's my YouTube strategy? What's my Instagram? They're actually all connected. And my creative director speaks on this really well. It's called the future creator. And the idea is you come in, you validate an idea on the easiest platform for you. Let's say naturally you're articulate when you write. It's okay, cool. Let's start with LinkedIn and X. Let's start posting on those. And then when you start to see a bit of traction on one of those posts, it can then become a short form video. If you had the idea about, let's just take a fitness idea as an example. Let's say you're going X in LinkedIn and the idea is around 80% of building the body of your dream comes from your nutrition. That does really well. Cool. That becomes a video. And you may do a piece to camera video, or you may do some visual storytelling where you show your food. You would build something around that. It's cool. If that gets validated again, great. Well, that could be a YouTube. Let's do a day of eats and talk about the importance of nutrition. And then you start moving across platforms and you're just bouncing the same idea across multiple. That becomes an email. You can go across written and visual platforms very, very easily. You just need to learn how to go from visual to copy and vice versa.
What's your view on founder-led businesses? The way that I look at things is, you've got Mr. Beast and all these companies. You've got Jake Paul, Logan Paul, all these companies. I mean, you've got Tony Robbins, who's been doing it for ages. He's got over 120 companies. Probably you can't name 5 of them. What's your view long-term on or even medium-term on where things are going for founders?
Founders, just hire really smart people that are better than you at their own job and like bring them in. I think as a founder, the key is, if you're going to be like visionary, the key is having a vision that is big enough to encompass everyone. Your ambition needs to trump everyone in your business.
Yeah.
Like if you have someone in your business, it's like, my dream is to earn $40,000, $50,000 a month. You need to be saying that you want to earn 500,000 or $1 million a month. Because if you go, oh, same, that's my dream as well. It's like, well, how are you possibly going to work under the same roof? It's just not going to work. So yeah, I think the goal is, again, for a founder, they need to be like visionary. They need to be big picture thinkers, but they also need to put the right people in place and be realistic about who's going to be doing the roles. Because some founders are too visionary and too big picture. And I've worked with those in the past where the blue sky is too blue. So it's a real balance between the two. I think you need to have that vision. You need to be clear on the direction of getting there, but you also need to be able to go from like big picture down to the detail. And I think too many founders lose sight of maybe some of the detail.
Yeah.
So it's a balance between bringing in the right people who you can outsource to, but then not losing control to the point where you don't actually have a handle on many things in your business. I also think founder-led businesses, like the ones you mentioned, creator-led, a lot of the time, there's very key operators who are coming in and they're seeing opportunity and presenting it to creators, which is very different. Like,
what do you mean by that?
Okay, take Prime, for example. Take the Nelk Boys with Happy Dad. Take Feastables. I don't know the inner workings of the deal, but I would assume it's someone coming to them and saying, cool, you've got this brand, ran some analysis on the data. This is roughly who you're targeting. We can do this. We've got distribution. We've ran up a CGC, consumer good company before. We know the connections. We know the inroads. You can be the face. Here's X% of that, probably a very good X% of that. You be the face, do all the marketing. We'll do everything else. Like they're not coming in and yes, they're going to be involved in the manufacturing and they're going to be there on site, but that's all marketing, right? That's showing them integrated into the business. Like there's some pretty seasoned operators that are just seeing the opportunity. They're going like, where is the attention now? It's here. Let's make them the face of it. And it's just a little bit different. It's just the move over from a brand deal. Instead of cutting them, they now have equity in the business instead of just a percentage of the cash flow on affiliate.
Because like I've seen a shift. Like 15 years ago, it was all about business, like a Goldman Sachs or just the name of a company, and then you'd find out, you know, the CEO and who's the executives. But now I feel like there's so much acknowledgement around the person, the individual, and then like I didn't even know, I couldn't find your Amplify website. I think it's amazing that you said, you know, like the Instagram is your landing page, and it makes so much sense because like that's how you build interest. Like going to a website versus going to your Instagram page. I'm going to interact and connect more going to your Instagram page. I mean, do you see it going more around like founders building brands and then underneath their personal brand, they've got a set of companies that kind of sit underneath, and sometimes you won't even know what those companies are? Like, do you see it going in that direction? Potentially.
I think B2B brands are going to be quite important, and like businesses, like I still think traditional businesses, Goldman Sachs, a good example. Like I just still feel like Goldman Sachs has weight just saying that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know how many CEOs in each country you could name, or even the founder, which I assume is Goldman Sachs.
Yeah,
I would assume
so.
Pretty easy. Named it after himself. I would say for more D2C, direct to consumer companies, that may move into that sphere, but it depends. I think personal brand's good, but then as a founder, you want the brand to live on without you. So you do want to create really clear branding, because otherwise you're stuck and you have to be the face of the company for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that is a risk by building these like personal led, you know, creator led companies, is that they never get out of the business.
Yes.
So I think having longevity, you need to have that separation.
You're Gen Z, right?
1999, I was born.
Yes, I think you're Gen.
Yeah,
Gen Z. So I was speaking to a Gen Z like 2 weeks ago, and I was thinking, here's in the Goldie, and like cost of living's going up like astronomically, but salaries aren't going up. So like people of, you know, in your age group, like I was thinking like, fuck, like in 4 years' time, their salaries have gone up maybe 5%. And then like where house prices and just cost of living's gone up, like it's going to be really hard, I think, for them to get by. Like, do you have mates who just aren't on, I guess just have normal jobs and just are finding it, challenging?
Yeah, I think we've always said that though. That like house prices are going up, like cost of living's tough. Just ebbs and flows. I think, yeah, it's more like the way society's geared. The majority of people that live, in the ecosystem of a corporate capitalist society, like there's always going to be people that are earning more than others. Like I think entrepreneurs have an opportunity because there's a greater risk tolerance. So there's definitely some downside that it all crumbles and vanishes. And that's the risk you take as an entrepreneur, but you do get valued more, obviously, than an employee.
Yeah. Because like I'm thinking the employee in 3 or 4 years' time is on 80 grand, trying to live in Bondi. Like I just think like it's not that easy. Like you can obviously get by, but it's like it's not comfortable. And then you got people like you who have found something you obviously love and you can move with speed. I just feel like not everyone wants to be a founder, an entrepreneur. They don't want to sign up for that. But I think we're living in a very unique time just with where things are, where you can get something off the ground and you can move pretty quick.
You can, but I think there's always been opportunity. It would have been the same when the internet was invented.
Yeah.
Like we could have said the same thing, like, oh, look at house prices, look at the average salary, where you're going to be in 5 years. If you don't jump on this internet thing, like this is the time to do it. Same, we're talking about AI now, like that.
Yes.
Until the end of time, there's always going to be opportunity for people who are willing to tolerate the risk. It's just risk threshold.
Risk threshold. And
like some people prefer a safety net of an employee and a superannuation and want to live that life. And you've got to respect them for it. I think over time, when I was a bit younger, I used to look at that and be like, I just don't understand you, I remember I came into Procter & Gamble, first graduate job. They sat me down in front of all the partners and it was like, all right, Ian, 20 years in the company, 30 years in the company. I just thought, I should call my dad. I was like, that was like the opposite of inspirational, which I think it was meant to be inspirational. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to need something like on the side or like to find something I can do because this is not where I want to be long term. Whereas some people look at that and go, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
of
course.
And what my dad said to me, which I think is a really good insight, is he goes, yeah, but that guy's who's 20 years in the company, he's probably had a holiday every year. He's probably got an amazing relationship with his wife and his kids, and it's a balance. Like, yes, he's worked hard to become a partner there and he's done a lot for the company. And yes, maybe if he was an entrepreneur and had put in the same amount of hours, he could be earning whatever. But it's like, he also maybe has, a passion for golf on the side, and maybe he's got this little like small hobby that he does and he really enjoys it and he's really happy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't impose what I view as the correct decision for happiness to them. So I think it's just understanding people are different. We have different thresholds for things and there's no right or wrong way to live life.
For sure.
So yeah, I think over time I've become less critical of those around me because I didn't understand them in the beginning. I was just like, I just don't get it. That's so stupid. Like, why would they do that? And now I'm just like, it's just another way, another approach. And there's probably other verticals. Like I've said this before, to be an entrepreneur and be really successful, you need to become super one-dimensional. And like all you can laser focus on, that's how you get ahead. You just laser focus on one thing for a prolonged period of time. And I think what that sacrifices is I'm probably not the best partner, the best son, the best friend while I'm laser focused on that one thing. People as a whole are far more multi-dimensional. And I think you've just got to realize, like, if you make yourself one-dimensional, you're going to relate well to other one-dimensional people that are in the same boat because we share the same value structure.
Yes.
Whereas we are going to become less relatable to people who are multi-dimensional and haven't gone all in on that one thing. And I've definitely noticed that with friends and things like that. But over time, I've just got better at appreciating with maybe different values when it comes to focusing on one thing. Yes. But as a whole, we can still connect. We're still humans.
Has your friend circle changed since you've launched your businesses now?
Like, I've met new cool people, and like when I go overseas, I'm very well connected. Like, I'll go to Singapore and like hang out with some great people there. Go to Tuscany where I'm meeting a great, awesome founder from the UK who's in like a level 1. He's just exited really well, but it's like a level 1 opportunity for like a level 10 founder.
Okay.
And like, this guy's a legend. So like, there's more people that I've met like that. But when I come here, I'm still surrounded by very similar friend group. But that was hard in the beginning. I think everyone talks about this lonely chapter, right? I think Chris Williamson and Hamosi talk about a lot, the lonely chapter of when you embark on this new part of your journey and you're heading to that new destination, you're unrelatable to your old friend group, you're not relatable to the next friend group, and it's the lonely, it's like, you're only making it a lonely chapter because you're making yourself one-dimensional and you're making yourself unrelatable. It's not like your other friends are outing you and saying, nah, we're done with you. You want more for your life? That's not good enough. Go on your way. It's like, it's not actually how it happens. It's like you're looking at them and going, I don't really relate to you guys as much. And you're looking up to people and you're going, oh, I'm now in this lonely chapter. It's like, just relate to them on other things. You can still have coffee with them. You can still go for a run with them. You can still do so many other things outside of just talk about business. And I think that's what I've learned over time, because I love talking about business, but I've realized my friends probably don't want to talk about business all the time, particularly if they're an employee. And I'm talking about like scaling a business and hiring people and it's so unrelatable. It's like if they came in and were like, oh yeah, at the coffee counter, like you won't believe what happened in the office today. And then HR said, like, I would tune out. Right? Yeah. So they have the right to tune out when I want to speak about business.
That's interesting. It's good because you're right. Like, do you experience isolation as a founder outside of your circle of friends? Just running a business, do you experience loneliness and isolation?
No, I've got a great partner. She's a legend, backbone behind any successful man or woman. There's normally a very like respected and hardworking and awesome person that's backing them. So I think she's been like massive for that. She also works in the business.
Okay.
So she's like been brought into my world. And I think part of that, because she wanted to, like she was leaving like government job and all these things, but also it's like, I don't know, we leave tomorrow to Europe for like 4 months. And it's just like, if you're working in government, could you do that? No. So there's a lot of benefit. And she adds massive amounts of value. She handles all of the athletes and affiliates and like, yeah, it's really like stepped into the role and is super hardworking. So it's pretty awesome to be able to build it with someone. And I've always been like this. Like I know the saying is like, never hire the people you work with or like never hire your friends. I just love, like if I see someone and they're not happy in their role and I can see that they could add value somewhere in the business, I'm like, just come work for me. Like Jake, who was my business partner, good learning. We now aren't business partners. We still do some stuff together. But like his girlfriend works in my business as well.
Okay.
And like, I think you've got to get good at this and it works when the lights are on and everything's moving in the right direction. But yeah, I just love giving people a taste of finding something that they're really passionate about. And like, I love solving problems. And if I can solve problems for someone or with someone, I find that like so gratifying at every level. So if I see someone who's got skill and talent and I'm just like, you could be applying this here in my business. And like, I want to show you how that moves the needle forward and how you're creating like value creation.
Yeah.
Like I think for people to understand that who maybe have come from a traditional employee background and then see how they can create value and be like, oh, I get it now. Like I just need to do more of this and then do this. And that's going to create a flow-on effect somewhere else. Like, I love showing people that. It's so much fun.
It's awesome how you've got so many friends in the business.
Yeah.
You're right. There is that common, like,
misconception. Yeah, it's 18 months until like it could all come crumbling down. And I'll be like, it all went wrong. But for now, it's worked very well. I also work on like contracts. So no one's full-time employee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Nice. Across the whole business. There's like 60 people now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite a few. So I think a lot of people think it's like, oh, solopreneur, like must be doing a lot. It's like, no, it's 60 people. Like granted, 20 of those would be in sales. I run a whole like VA placement agency in the Philippines. So I have a bunch of VAs I work with, which are amazing. They're such legends and like amazing proficiency in English, high levels of competency and the most lovely people. Went out to Manila, met them, like went for dinner with them. They're awesome. Yeah.
So the tech products you're building, are they going to be plugged into like Amplify?
Yeah.
Or is that separate?
No, integrated.
Integrated.
So other things like ecosystem, want to take someone from zero, teach them how to grow, get them on the editing app. It's going to be like pretty game changing, having created content for a long time now and knowing the power of short form content. And short form, all of the platforms have signaled, but particularly on short form, that it is a volume and it's a quality and quantity game. But they basically signaled with things like trial reels and removing view count. Like they've signaled more content.
Yeah.
The way I always think about everything, and when someone comes to me and goes, oh, I've been shadow banned or Instagram won't show my content to me, I go, do you know how Instagram make money? By showing content to people. They are just trying to take the right content to the right people. Either it's not the right content or it hasn't found the right people.
Yeah.
Like at its simplest, they make money from ad revenue. Longer people stay on the platform, better it is for Meta. So it's like, if you can help them do that, Instagram's always going to help you back.
What's the plan for Amplify long term? Like, have you thought about like exit, or how are you thinking about it?
Yeah, so looking at bringing on some people at the moment, technical co-founder, as a couple investors in like private wealth, and then end of year go for a proper Series A.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to grow it big.
Yeah.
Nice. That's global, right?
Yeah.
So, are you operating in any other markets outside of UK, US, Oz?
We've translated everything to Spanish. We have a Spanish arm.
Okay. Is that like a new arm?
Relatively new. It's like 3 months in.
And how's that going?
Good. Interesting with a different market. Like, we go into South America and Spain. Different purchasing power, different market, but it's growing. It's good. It's a new challenge of putting everything into a new language. I've got like a creator who heads that up. So it's more of like a JV for that.
Do you find that you can replicate it, like, and move into these different markets like pretty easily, or?
Yes, I think English speaking is. Yes, you can, but I think like Spanish has its own challenges with just being in new languages and like different purchasing power. I think purchasing power is the biggest one. Like, the average salary in Spain. I looked at this the other day. I don't want to get it wrong. It's not much relative. Like, it's like a fourth or a fifth of what it is in Australia.
Okay, it's
like the average median salary. So it's a huge difference. So there's a bit of a price adjustment and just understanding that. And then also, because these are built on personal brands, it's more about finding the right people who are those partners who are going to head that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely doable, and it's very replicatable. And something I look at, as we touched on a little bit, is also Amplify, unbeknown to a lot of people, sits behind the IP of a lot of other big personal branding courses.
Okay.
Where I've gone on JV, given them IP, given them tech stacks, and then scaled out sales team for them and taken equity in their business.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. De-risk it a little bit for myself long term as well.
Sweet. Well, brother, wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Great to jam.
Yeah, likewise.
Cheers.